Hello, 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 my gorgeous lovelies. Daniella here again for Redesign Your Life Forever. And welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. It has been another week since I have been with you. I am actually going to start up another 30-day challenge soon, probably as of the new year, because I loved doing it and I got such great responses from it. And it allowed me to come to you with more topics that I really wanted to get out there. And so, like, today's topic is going to be really, really super helpful for you all as we come into the holidays. Now, I know this is a time that some of us absolutely love and some of us absolutely loathe. So, either way you split it, this is definitely going to be some information that you are going to want to know. So resiliency. Resiliency is a huge, huge thing that I work with every day, teaching beautiful women just like you how to build their resiliency. And what is resiliency? What does that actually mean? Well, resiliency is actually not only mentally, emotionally, but physiologically, our nervous system, mental, nervous, emotional, physiologically, our nervous system's ability to bounce back from being traumatized or being triggered in any way. So if you've got old programming running the show and you've, got lots of family coming around the house that are, telling you how to cook your dinner and stuff, and it really starts to trigger stuff for you. This information about resiliency is going to be something that you are definitely going to want to hold on to. And again, if it's something you want help with, I am always here for that. There are going to be limited spaces available during the holidays. I'm actually going to running. I believe I'm going to do a little Black Friday special for you all here in the group. I have been getting lots and lots of amazing, beautiful souls to work with here, and I want to share the love. So I believe as of Black Friday through the next week, I'm going to be offering a special gift with anyone who books a single session or one of my 4-week programs. So that is going to be coming up, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more information with you about that at the end of this. So resiliency. Resiliency is our ability to bounce back, essentially. And it is a huge, huge thing that really people spend hours, not even just hours, days, locked in a tidal wave of fear, of terror, nervousness, being stagnant, being locked up, anxiety, panic attacks, making yourself physically ill, being able to, work yourself up into physical illness. People do this so much around the holidays because we perceive so many extra stressors during this time of the year. And again, whether you love it or you loathe it, it's a time of year that there's a lot going on. So one way or the other, there's going to be you're gonna need some of these little tips that I want to share with you tonight about how to maintain that resiliency as opposed to falling apart in pieces. Every time, your mother-in-law tries to tell you how to, stir your stuffing, you can do one of these techniques and, bring yourself back, calm yourself down, and be able to, maintain your cool throughout this holiday season. And I did not mean that to be a pun, but it turned out that way. So one of my number one things to do, of course, is grounding. Grounding, for those of you who are not familiar, grounding is going outside, and I know for some of us this isn't necessarily going to be super easy because some of us have already gotten snow, but to actually go outside and put your feet on the ground and feel the earth, feel your feet on the earth, feel, the weight of gravity, feel the weight of your limbs, and if you can't put your feet on the ground, another great one is to go out and hug a tree. And I know that gets a little bit of a giggle factor, hug a tree, right? But truthfully, trees are living beings just as the rest of us, and so connected to the earth, and they have an immense wisdom and power and love that they can share with us at any time, and all we have to do is go up and ask. So going outside, taking a moment, like if you need to take a moment, go take a moment, go outside, just go touch a tree. I mean, I like to hug trees just because that, immediately engenders that feeling of love. When you hug something, it helps, bring that positive vibration and positive energy out easier than just touching it. But of course, if the family and friends are around, you don't necessarily want to go around hugging trees, which is totally understandable depending on your situation. But so just go out and, put your hand on a tree if you can't put your feet on the ground. And grounding is a great way to go and take 5 minutes for yourself in a self-care kind of way, and kind of regain your composure, before you go back in and continue wrestling with all the family and friends and all the hoopla. So grounding, that is going to be probably your number one thing that you can do. A couple of other ways to ground is actually, I like to feel the texture of things. So if I'm wearing, the nice fuzzy sweater, I'll, grab the sleeve of it or something and just kind of start doing, one of these numbers, just to start feeling the fibers of it. And the more you're bringing your attention to whatever it is that you're doing, like feeling the fibers or feeling your feet on the ground, feeling the bark of the tree, that is going to bring your attention away from the anger, the anxiety, the nervousness, the triggered state. It's going to bring you out of that triggered state. And that essentially is the hugest tip I could give you for being able to progress through the holidays and still keep your sanity, is to take a moment, take a break, and to feel something. One of my best friends, actually, I was, having a rough time, and he shared with me, he's like, dude, feel your feet. And if you catch this video, you'll know who I'm talking about. You know who you are. He says, feel your feet. Just take a second and feel your feet. Feel your feet in the bottom of your shoes. And this is very, very similar to grounding, which I don't even know if he put the 2 and 2 together. But it's essentially a grounding technique. Like, feel the texture of your socks. Feel the texture of the carpet. Feel the weight of, shift your weight back and forth on your feet and feel your weight in your feet. And again, by bringing your attention to something else, you're really going to knock down the amount of time. Oops, sorry, my computer's doing something weird back here. The amount of time that you're spending in that state of terror and fear and anxiety. So that is, a huge tip for me. That is one of my absolute favorites. My absolute favorites is to feel the texture of something. And that will immediately sort of bring me back out of being kind of, another one. What's another good one? Most of them have to do with touch. Again, feeling your feet, feeling the texture of something. Another thing too, if you have a moment to spare to yourself, is to go in, what Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock would call his mind palace, is that you create, basically your happy place inside your head. And, that does take time to construct, but now is a good time to start. And if you need help starting to build your happy place, call me. So go to your happy place. Go outside, go walk outside, touch a tree, and go to your inner sanctuary for a minute. Go sit in there and take a breather. Mentally take a breather. Look around and see all of the things, and if you've got a fireplace or this or that or the other, bringing your attention away from those feelings. Again, away from the feelings of fear and terror and being triggered and panic and anxiety and trauma, drama, all of this stuff, being rubbed the wrong way. You can pull yourself out of that by bringing your attention to your mind palace, your happy place. Another one is when you feel these emotions coming up, another thing that I like to do is feel it. It is okay to feel it. So often in a lot of spiritual circles, people will tell you, it's all got to be positive, it's all got to be this, and don't give in to the negative, don't give the negative any time, because the more time, you give the negative, the longer it will inhabit your being, which in and of itself is true. And that's, they're mostly talking about when, you spend those hours and those days in that state of fear and panic and anxiety. But what I'm talking about here is to take a few moments and feel it. If you're frustrated, just take a deep breath and just go, you know what? I am frustrated. Step 2, tell yourself that's okay. It's okay for you to be frustrated. It's okay for you to be drained. It's okay. It happens. But then step 3 is to go, okay, now that I feel that I'm frustrated, I feel it, it's okay. Now what am I going to do? I might suggest going to one of your feeling exercises where you feel the texture of something. You go take a walk outside, feel a tree, pick up a leaf, feel it. Bring your brain out, completely out of that place. But by acknowledging those feelings, you're not stuffing anything down, because the problem with saying, everything's hunky-dory and not even taking a moment to acknowledge that feeling, you're actually not releasing it or, having it move through you and out of you and any of that stuff. You're actually storing it, as it turns out, in your body, for those of you who did not know. So anytime that you're not feeling the feelings and you're just saying, hey, I don't want to be feeling this and I want to push it away as fast as possible, that's actually just stamping it down and holding it more so in your energy field and holding it in your body, which is very unhealthy. So by bringing it up and going, okay, I feel it, it's there, okay. I can have compassion with myself for feeling this, because it is okay and acceptable for me to feel this way. Just because you're frustrated with your mother-in-law for telling you how to stir your stuffing does not mean instantly that you're going to go homicidal just by acknowledging the fact that you feel frustrated. Okay? Do you see where there's a difference there? Because most people, they think, they go, oh my God, if I let my upset feelings, of so and so, and we're harping on the mother-in-laws a lot. But that's just the cliche thing. So nobody take anything personally by that. But by doing that, it oh my God, I totally lost my train of thought there, you guys. Oh shoot, I totally lost my train of thought. I can't believe that happened. Sorry guys, I just totally lost it. Somebody just totally stuck it out of my head. Having those moments of compassion are very important for yourself, because there we go, I think, is that there is a huge gap between allowing yourself to feel the feeling so that it can move through you and out of you, and holding on to that feeling forever and for a long time and for, hours, days, months, all that stuff. They're totally two different things. So realize that it is okay for you to have those feelings. That doesn't make you bad. That doesn't make you wrong. But by feeling them, acknowledging that they exist, say, okay, that's fine. Who's for a cup of tea? Just move on. And I know people are like, just move on. Move your attention to something else. Because honest engine, that is going to help you immensely as you go through the season and there are stressors and you're out shopping and you're trying to get that perfect gift, you're trying to cook the perfect dinner, whatever you happen to be doing that you are doing out of love for other people, but there's, a high level of stress induced by it, just by virtue of the environment around it. Just try and bring your attention out of thinking, and gnawing on that, because really that's what's causing us to have those triggered moments, is that our ego is gnawing on stuff, and that causes us to be triggered by it and get all upset and flustered and, all of these things. And when we get flustered, we're taken out of that positive energy that we can be using to flush those feelings, to let them pass through and go, you know what, it's okay that I'm frustrated, but I can now make a choice and pull my attention to something else, like feeling your sweater, like going out and touching a tree, or grounding if you don't have snow, any of these things. And taking this time for yourself is so important, because it is self-care. Self-care, 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 self-care. I cannot say it enough. That has got to be the number one thing that people ignore during the holidays is their own self-care, taking care of themselves so that they can be at their top level for spreading their love to everybody else. Because as I know, you hear everybody harp on, you can't give from an empty cup. And as cliche as it is, it's true. So take a moment for yourself. It is not selfish to take a moment for yourself, in a big, heavy family environment, and just go walk around your cul-de-sac. Walk down a couple of houses and walk back. Just take a breath. Feel your feet, as my good friend said. Feel your feet. It pulls your attention away from the thing that's causing the trigger. And that is not, again, in a sense, to ignore it. You're allowing yourself to feel those feelings and recognize that you're having them. But then deliberately, intentionally, using your soul's will, if you've gotta, pull your attention away from that gnawing thought that's continuing to trigger you over and over and over again and keeping you in that state. And then that way you'll actually be able to move forward. That is going to be a huge, huge thing for you all. And for me too, because we are going back to California to officially visit with the future family for Christmas. And of course, I've known them and met them, and everything. But it's going back and staying with them in their house for a week and everything. So I can just imagine my triggered self going out for a walk a lot. So that is my tips. Those are my tips for you, my lovely. Stay grounded and, take that time for yourself, because again, it is so important that we take that time to reset ourselves so that we can be our best selves, spreading the most amount of love to, the most amount of our, family and friends. And we can't give from a place that's empty. We can't run off of fumes. It just doesn't work well. We end up burning ourselves out, burning the candle at both ends. And then we get really down on ourselves because we're not doing as well as we thought we would do, or that we thought we should be doing. And then just kind of, it just leads into that downhill of depression. And then you get into that phase in the holidays, and it just tanks. It just tanks the rest of our year. So don't let the rest of your year tank. Hopefully you will be able to use some of my tips and tricks to keep yourself on the up and up this season. So if any of this is resonating with you, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you about working together in the future. I would absolutely love to be able to share as much of my knowledge to you all as I can throughout this holiday season, because I know that this is a tough time for a lot of people. So again, I'm going to be running a special starting Black Friday where you will get a special gift if you book one of my single sessions or one of my 4-week, I can't even think right now, 4-week boot camp, so that you can be the new you by 2019. Start off 2019 right. You can start now. If you start now, you will be a new you by 2019. And that is with all the rigmarole going on during the holidays. You can actually change your life and be a new you in 2019. All right, my lovelies, that is my little bit of a rant for you this evening. I hope it was helpful. Again, if there's anything that you want to ask me about, or if you want me to do a Wisdom Wednesdays on, you can always feel free to message me with a question, and I would be happy to answer. If you're interested in having a free consultation session, a clarity call, please let me know. I am always here for you, and those are there free for you, and we can decide whether or not we want to work together or not. There's absolutely zero pressure. It is just me putting myself out here in service to you. All right, my lovelies, have a wonderful, safe Thanksgiving. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, I hope everyone's full and happy and all the things, and I will see you probably for Friday for our Black Friday announcement. All right, my lovelies, have a fantastic evening. I love you all. Mwah. I will see you soon.